Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Sam, and welcome to Better You Better Society. Today, I'm going to be interviewing somebody that I think we should all, pay a lot of attention to because she has been making major moves, and you guys are in for a real special treat. All right, what's up?
Hello, Sam. How are you?
I'm doing good. So, what is your name?
So my name is Kadeen Kelly.
All right, and what do you do?
So I'm an entrepreneur. I am an investor. I invest within the foreign exchange market, but I'm also a real estate investor. So I would consider myself to be a serial investor. I'm also a speaker, a motivator, a mentor, a big sister, a great daughter, a healer, so many different things.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I do. So you speak.
Yes.
So you do public speaking.
Yes, I do.
All right. So are you nervous right now?
A little bit. A little
Me too.
bit.
It's okay. Me too.
Yeah, just a little,
Isn't that strange how you could speak in front of thousands and, you'll still get nervous? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
when the camera's on. It's interesting.
I think it really never matters the amount of people, even if it's like one person or 1,000 souls. I think sometimes every time you have the moment to speak and it means something and it matters, you always kind of get the jitters. I think that it doesn't matter who performs in front of how much people. I think they always still have those like jitters. But when you're in the moment and you're just doing what you love, your gift or your passion, I think that's when everything just washes away. That's when it washes away from me. So
I bet. So the jitter's about to wash away.
yes, it is.
All right. So tell me, how did you go from broke to making money? Because I remember when you came and you spoke to me at the school when I was a substitute teacher there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you were unemployed at the time, but you were looking for ways to make some money.
Yeah.
And then next thing I knew, a few months later, I seen you making moves on social media and I just seen, your name was getting lit. So tell me about that.
So at the time that I met you, I was actually working at Allstate as an inside property adjuster. So I was working with like homeowners insurance. I was probably making like $45,000 a year, but that was my first job straight out of college. So during that time, I actually was just looking for a way to be a little bit more entrepreneurial. I knew I had gifts. So one of my gifts that God has shown me is speaking. So I knew that I had a gift. I didn't really know what to do with it. And I was recommended to you by a friend of mine at the time. And he said, great thing, raved about you. One thing I want you guys to know, this guy, he's the man. He is the man, 1,000%. I have learned so much from him and I'm so proud of his growth. You are phenomenal. So I came to meet you and I was technically broke. I think that a really good memory that I remember was a prayer that actually said, I received a bill. It was a student loan bill. So after 6 months, you have to pay back your loans. I was $50,000 in debt. So I got my first bill. It was 6 months post graduation. I got my bill and I remember going in the shower and I dropped to my knees in the shower and just started bawling, crying. And I remember like I had a very emotional conversation with God. And I told him that I feel like I was put on this earth to be greater and to be more. However, I felt like I was not utilizing my skills to the best of my abilities. I told him that I know that I'm supposed to do more. I just don't know what more is. And I asked him to reveal that to me. I don't know. I don't know the answers. Quickly after that, that's when, literally less than a week, my good friend and my mentor at the time, Mr. Richie, Emron Richie, actually introduced me to the business of trading, investing. And that was something that was already underneath the umbrella of what I wanted to do. Financial literacy, helping the community learn about money and how to utilize tools and resources in order for them to make more money. So the biggest thing I guess I would say from going from being broke to making money is first speaking to my creator, realizing what my gifts were, being susceptible and aware of signs and of opportunities, not just turning down opportunities, giving it a fair chance, praying. And then I realized very quickly that in order for me to make a lot of money, I need to help other people make money as well. And I think that that was something that I don't think a lot of people understood, because sometimes we could be very self-preserved when it comes to making money and me, but sometimes we don't realize that the people that make the most money, they actually serve the greater community in some way. They solve a problem. They help make life simpler. They help people make money. So that would be the more simplified answer, I guess.
Gotcha. You said something that I like. You said being susceptible to opportunities or being aware of opportunities and not just turning it away. Like a lot of people, they turn down opportunities. What made you be open to embracing that opportunity?
I think for me, the biggest thing is whatever I'm doing solving a problem right now. It's so crazy how sometimes we are prepared and we don't even know it. And this is why awareness is so important. For years, I was prepared for the very opportunity, that very moment, but I didn't realize it. For years, let's say my major in college was finance. My minor was financial literacy and financial planning, estate planning, wills, everything of that sort. I always was kind of centered around finance. I remember I wanted to open up a school that teaches financial literacy. So money, finance, and how it pertains to our community. I believe that opportunity, when it was presented to me, I didn't know that I was going to be speaking on stages. I didn't know that I was going to be mentoring over 2,000 people. I didn't know that I was going to be in a position of leadership. These were all things. It's so funny because I wanted to get my master's in educational leadership. So a lot of the times we don't realize that the resources that we want in order to get exactly where we have to go is at our fingertips. We're probably actually utilizing it, or even if we haven't, we have to tap into it. You just kind of create a focus. What exactly do you want to focus on? There's a lot of problems in the world, a lot. So you can choose anything. I know that for you, you have chosen, health, people's fitness, as well as their mindsets. So you're very catered onto solving the problem of people when it comes to their bodies, when it comes to their minds, and how they take care of that in order for them to create a better society. So that's just one problem, right? But if you focus on that one problem, you don't realize there's millions, billions of people that need that solution. So I just had to figure out, with all these problems, rather than focusing on everything, what is one solution that I could provide? And that was within the world of money. So much people around me, including myself, when I came to you, I wanted to figure out how I can make money but still be purposeful, how I can help people and still still lather myself in my gifts and in what I felt like I was meant to be on this earth to do. And Lord and behold, I just realized that once I just focused on solving that one problem, so much greatness came from that. And I'm not even just talking about money, just my connection to God. I'm talking about my connection to community, to people, understanding people, my kindness. I just feel like so much great things came out of that. My character, leadership. Money is just the bare minimal, and I made a lot. You know what I mean? But when I look at it, it's so minuscule to the life lessons that it has taught me.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you, how much money did you make? But before I even get to that, there was a question that I had for you. It was, so when you first were presented with the opportunity, right? Mm-hmm. Were you skeptical at all? Or were you in a place of, you know what? I'm at rock bottom. I have this debt and I need to get to the bag. So I'm just going to, jump on this opportunity.
So I didn't really have skepticism. It's funny because this same opportunity had visited me in 2017. And this is why when you are prepared, when the opportunity meets the moment, you'll be able to take advantage of it full force. In 2017, I wasn't prepared for the same opportunity that it presented itself to me. I remember I joined and in 30 days I quit. I was just like, and I never shamed it. I just said, I don't know if it was for me. I was a junior in college. I was still trying to finish up school. I was still focused on other things. But when I joined this opportunity again, but prior to me even getting that hit up, I was speaking to our mutual friend, and I'm like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. What's actually funny is one day I was with my friend. we was meditating, and he's like, oh, okay, my homeboy is gonna come and use the studio. Shout out to Malcolm Carter. But his homeboy came and used the studio, and then his homeboy started talking about it. So he's talking about it. I said nothing. I just listened. And then from that night, it's funny because I actually didn't like how he explained it. I felt like I knew how to explain it better, where it can help people. But, you know, I'm not really an egotistical person, none of that stuff. So I was very humbled that he even was brave enough to come and speak to us about it, because so much people had a bad outlook on it. So it takes a lot of courage to be that courageous to even speak. So I just stayed quiet. And I when he left, I was like, I could do that. I could do that for sure. I know I could do it. I know that I could help people. But even though I said that I wanted to do it weeks before I actually started to do it, I still wasn't, I'm going to do it right now. It was kind of just a lingering, I could do that. And this is why sometimes like people doing exactly what you want to do and even seeing success from it is so important, because I thought about it. I said I could do it. I remember in 2017, I didn't see nobody really doing it, and I didn't really see no one successful doing it. So when I did it, it kind of was like weary. Oh, I don't know if I could see success. But once I saw him doing it, and I also saw other people becoming extremely successful, I'm like, I know that I could do it. It's just going to take a different version of myself, a way more mature, a way more developed, a way more teachable, like version of myself. I have to be able to actually sit down and be a student. But if I sit at the foot of these people and become a student, I know that with time, my powers and what I can bring to this opportunity, the little contribution that I can make can maybe be a big contribution to the people that it impacts. So yeah, I wouldn't say skepticism, but I would say skepticism in the way of not knowing how other people would take it, my friends or family, not knowing if people would accept me or accept that I was doing it. But also, it's like what you said earlier, I also had the mindset of, because remember, my student loans, I didn't really have a lot of money, you know, and I never really was fond of working. I grew up with an entrepreneurial mom. She's a real estate broker. So I grew up my whole life in a single parent household with a very strong Jamaican mother. And I always saw my mom having the luxury of shopping when she wanted, going to the grocery store when she wanted, resting when she wanted, going out and making money. So I'm kind of hardwired to see life with a little bit more freedom than go in at 9 and leave at 5. And I have I have the utmost respect for people that do that. I was that person. I will still be that person if I have to. That's why I got a degree. If I ever had to, I love the fact that I can fall back on that. I guess for me, I'm just hardwired into always thinking like, what is the best way that I don't, even if I have to be in that realm, that's fine. And I respect it and I don't care. And nobody can make me feel bad about that. But how can I make sure that a life of freedom is a life that I live, where I have the luxury of doing at least the same type of lifestyle of my mom, being able to shop, do this, do that, come to parent-teacher conferences, you know, like just the freedom where she doesn't have to worry. So I was like, listen, I have to put myself in a position where I even can try to create that life. If I don't take no risks, if I don't accept no opportunities, if I'm not even trying, then yeah, I'm gonna sit at Allstate for another 4 years. Yeah. And I clearly didn't want to do that, so.
Yeah. So that gave you the courage to say, you know what, I'm gonna call these people, I'm gonna hit them up, I'm gonna present the opportunity to them. I might come across as salesy, they might not like it, but I don't care if they don't like me. I don't care what they think about me, because if I don't pick up that phone and make those calls, I ain't gonna make no money. And I'm gonna be stuck at that job.
And you wanna know, so this is so beautiful. I love this interview, by the way. Thank you so much. So much. I am so grateful. And I really want to give you your flowers again. Thank you for what you do. I don't think you realize how how much you are impacting the community in what you are doing.
You better stop it.
From these interviews, from your videos, like going on your page literally puts a smile on my face. It's just amazing just seeing even production where you have started, because remember, I've seen you at a certain point in your life too, to like where you are now. You may not feel like it's much growth, but trust me, I see it. Like, it is amazing, and I definitely want to give my flowers. So, claps. But yes, it's so funny because for me, it wasn't about selling. I think that the biggest thing about anything that you do, and this is real game, before you could sell anybody on anything, you got to sell it to yourself. If you ain't buying it, ain't nobody buying it from you, because people don't buy whatever you sell. People buy you. You get what I mean? People buy the results of what it's doing in your life, how it's making you feel. So if at first I had to buy it myself, even though I was in this environment, I'm like, can I really make a lot of money? Does this really work? Is this really going to improve the quality of my life? I had to sell myself on that. And when I saw the results for myself, that is when I was able to turn around now and say, oh yeah, well, I'm going to tell people, and whether they like it or not, that's kind of on you. But I'm going to make sure I do my best. I do my part in making sure you see the quality of what this is doing, because it has provided quality for me. Investing, especially at that time, I'm going to be so honest. I feel like the movement that I was a part of is something that should literally go down in history. And I say that, and I know a lot of people won't give the movement its flowers that it deserves, but it really does deserve it, because I'm telling you, prior to the year of 2019, I barely heard of anybody talking about that type of market, how to make money, anything. Everybody spoke about real estate, and I want to be a real estate investor, and that was the only type of investments that people knew, real estate and stocks. And ain't nobody around me knew about stocks. Even with me going to school, my professor wasn't a multi-million-dollar stock portfolio holder. I didn't know no one that was making money in any type of way in that type of world.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm from the same town as you. That movement put the city on the map. And I know a lot of people that are younger than me, around my age, that went to the same high school as me, that are rich, like rich. You know what I'm saying? Like on some like real like movie, you know what I'm saying, on private jets. I'm like, so that movement is monumental.
It's so like, and I thank you for recognizing that, because it's not about me. It's not about me. I just played a little part in that, but that movement changed my life, you know?
All right, so what business and industry are you currently in?
So I am actually in the industry of speaking, being a speaker, motivational speaker. I'm also in the investment industry still, with real estate investments, as well as other financial investments. And then I also am tippy-toeing my way into fashion.
All right, so you're doing, basically that's like 4 different industries. Mm-hmm. All right, so how are you going to balance that?
I think first things first is figuring out the cash cow. The thing that is going to make you the money is very important, in which I plan to just use my gifts to do that. So I've done speaking gigs. I have been scheduled for a lot of speaking gigs, and I feel like my gift is my voice, and I'm not afraid to use it. And that's what I want to do. I want to use my voice to help underserved communities, to help women, to help children, to help corporations, employees. The average person, I want them to be able to learn how they can become a better them. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, but yes, focusing on the cash cow. And then from there, that's when my more passionate projects, my passion projects, as I would call them, I work on them in the meanwhile. While I'm focusing on the big things, my passion projects, which are within other industries, I work on them behind the scenes, where a lot of people won't really know or see a lot of like accolades, but that's how I want it, until I'm ready to put it on Front Street and it become something that is lifelong.
Okay. So while you're doing all of these different things, you're going to pick the one that pays you the most, give that majority of your focus and energy, and the other things you might give them like 5% here and there whenever you have the time to attend to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's super important for me to find the time to attend to it, because it's just like if you're working a job, a 9 to 5, it's like, your 9 to 5 is your active income that's giving you the money to pay your bills and live the lifestyle that you want. But that 10% or 15% or 20% that you allocate to those things that you're passionate about, your purpose, that helps. If you know how to allocate time to where, if you understand the logic of the money and the resources that my job gives me is the same things that I could funnel into these passion projects or these projects that really has my heart. I could turn around and be able to shift the gears and now one day make my passion project at 80% and make that other thing 20. I'm just grateful that the cash cow for me is also the thing that I'm very passionate about. And I pray for that a lot, but yeah, we're just doing it. But yes, the real estate is definitely more of that intentional, okay, this is a thing that can be able to make money, help people. Everything is always about helping. It doesn't matter how much money. If it's not helping people, if I can't help people, it does not make sense to me. But as long as it helps people and it solves a problem, whatever makes the most money will get the most of my time. Passion projects will get the less amount of my time, but it's important that it gets time, period.
Okay. So for somebody who wants to increase their income, what would be a mindset shift that you would tell them they need to make?
The biggest mindset shift for somebody that wants to make more money is investing into your mind. Which maybe people may feel like, oh, I'm doing that now, but it's the books that you read, it's the educational content that you're consuming, it's the leaders that you are following, it is the goals that you are setting. It's also like a full self-assessment. Being accountable for the things that you do is very important, especially if you want to make more and do more. Because if it's always a blame game, then how can you really get to high achievable levels if you're not making sure that whatever I have to work on and focus on, let me nip it in the butt right now. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? But I think it is the investment of your mind and being able to say, you know what? I can make more and do more, but first I have to be a teachable person. I have to learn. Now you either learn from a person, a mentor, you learn from, like I say, a video. I think for me, the biggest shifts, and I'm so grateful to have these little secrets, but one really cool secret, interesting secret is the consumption of what you listen to. Especially if you want to get very far, it is well advised that you go through periods of time where you cleanse and detoxify yourself from music, from movies, from shows, and solely focus on educational content that helps you within the realm that you are looking to. And when I mean that, I'm talking about in the car. When you go in the car and the first thing you go to is your Apple Music and your aux. Oh yeah, this kind of makes me calm. I don't care if it makes you calm. I don't care if it makes you happy. I don't care if it revives you. Cut it out and listen to a book. Cut it out and listen to a podcast. Cut it out and listen to something that is going to give you educational tools. Taking notes, not just saying, oh, I'm going to listen to everything it's going to store in my head. No, if you feel like you're watching a podcast that's teaching you something, you should have a notebook and a pen out and take notes. You get what I mean? This is why we go to school. This is why we go to college. If you go to college and you go to school and you pay thousands of dollars to listen to a professor read something out of a textbook and you have to take notes so you can pass a test, life is going to test you. There will come a time where you will be tested based upon the information and education that you have received. Now, will you pass or fail the test? That's based upon your notes, your knowledge, and how serious you took your education. Not just in an institution. Realize that the world is your classroom. You can learn from anything. So for me, I invested a lot of time, and I still do, into my mindset. Taking out Netflix, TV. I don't even have a TV in my room. Taking out Netflix, TV, taking out music. I would go to sleep with affirmations playing
So
because
basically, you're saying you consistently thought about making money, elevating yourself.
yes, to the point where I would affirm it, to the point where I would go to sleep listening to affirmations on it, to the point where, because a very big hack is you cannot wait to be happy when the moment comes. You must be happy for it now. You must celebrate and rejoice it now as if right now you have it. If you want $1 million, you cannot wait until, oh, I'm going to be happy and I'm going to celebrate when I have $1 million. You're going to be very confused. You're not really understanding. You have to feel like $1 million man or woman right now. I'm telling you, in the moments where before I even made that much money, had that much impact, it would be times where we would scream, clap, like just jump out of, like literally jump out of bed, jump out, just, I'm so happy. Like, I'm just so happy. Why are you happy? Because I just feel like $1 million. I feel like I have it right now. And these are things that make you look taboo and makes you look crazy. I understand that, but I'm telling you, it's called vibrations.
It's very practical and it's very logical and it makes sense. When I switch the switch in my brain that says I have $1 million in my accounts right now, that gives me the confidence to make that call, to turn down that deal, and to carry myself and present myself and to put myself out there as if I have that backing.
Exactly.
So you're lying to yourself and diluting yourself, but it's very practical and it allows you to take the steps that you need to take to get to actually reaching that goal.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's real.
And it works. It's real and it works. It works. It works. It works.
You know, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, it's fine.
There's another thing you said. You said just that thinking about money thing. Thinking about money. Now in my conversations, if we are talking about something that's not talking about money, like if my boys want to talk about girls and that conversation lasts for more than 3 minutes, I'll cut them off. No. Let's talk about some money. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want, I'm not gossiping. I don't want to talk about the game. Let's talk about some money. Because when we think and talk about money, we're basically brainstorming ideas. How can we make money? Oh, we can sell this. We can start that. And when I started doing that, I quadrupled my income immediately. Because now you have ideas. You're thinking of different things. And yeah, I got that from listening to Andrew Tate, of all people. You know, so you saying that, you know, the world will teach you, you can learn from anywhere. It's just being hungry and just wanting more. So when you hear it, Jim, internalize it and say, you know what? Can I apply this in my life?
Exactly. Awareness.
All right. So I think you are going to love this question. How important is it to be ballsy in business? To make, you know, to have some balls and say, you know what? I'm going to make this bold move.
I think it's very important, especially as a woman. So let's kind of get into that. Leadership as it pertains to women, because as you know, leadership is mostly men. The greatest leader of all time was Jesus to me. You know, that's who I believe in. Greatest leader of all time is Jesus, right? The leader of the free world of this country is usually a male. The leader of great big corporations are usually males. So it's crazy because for me, I think the biggest thing, especially for women, is I never try to make my fight about men and women, we have this fight. We do have it. We do. But I never try to make it a women's movement. I realize that you just have to conduct yourself a certain type of way to demand respect. Regardless, it's just like athletes. You have athletes that are people of color and they may feel like, you know, I have to work 10 times harder than, you know, other athletes. And that's kind of a toxic mindset to give, especially, you know, they give it to women too. You have to work 10 times harder than the man. It's toxic. It is toxic if you really boil down deeper into it. But I understand the analogy where you don't naturally just get the same respect as maybe another counterpart sitting right next to you. That is true. But I think it's more so about your narrative and how you look at yourself. Making sure, especially as women, you understand the type of ways that you can be disrespected within the place of A lot of people, they criticize women on masculine, like having masculinity. And I feel like masculinity within the household versus masculinity within the workforce is two totally different things. I can be very masculine in the workforce, come home and be the most feminine person in the world. That is what most women, some women really strive to do, especially in entrepreneurship. You have to have a backbone, because whether you are a woman or a man, if you are not strong and firm, and this is something I learned from my mother, if you're not firm and you're not strong, people will walk over you. It doesn't matter if you're tall, short, white, black, Asian, female, male, young, or old. You have to be firm in what you want and what you believe in. And I feel like also, it's not always about being bossy. I think one of the things that helped me so much is I know what role to play, and I play my role. I play my position, and we see it all the time, but I have been in a position where there's times where I might have to play the more behind the scenes, and I might have to play the backup or the number two and help somebody else push to number one, because I also understand that them pushing to number one helps me to get to where I have to go to. A lot of different instances, or there's times where I have to be that number one. But I also know, like, you know what, there's people that have helped me get to a certain position or a certain place. I just have to make sure that I'm turning around and watering the entire garden. So I think that a lot of the times for me, it's having grace, but it's being firm, showing people that you're serious. People are only going to take you as serious as you take yourself. So for instance, in any business that you do, if you want to do it, do it. You know what I mean? If you're going to do it and be serious about it. Don't laugh, don't play. I'm not skinning my teeth, right? I could be, some people have more charm with what they do, and that's great. And I've had charm too, because you can't be too serious. But you got to show people that for what it's worth, what I'm doing and what I believe in is very serious to me. So however I conduct myself, I'm going to give respect. I'm not going to just demand it. I'm going to give it first. All right? I'm going to give you respect. So vice versa, you're going to feel like, you know what, I should give her respect. If you don't feel like it, that's fine. That's your character, not mine, because it's all about my character and how I hold and present myself. If I'm in events and conferences and I'm being lackadaisical and I'm running off and I'm hiding and I'm doing this, and I'm focused on the wrong things, then how is anybody going to take me serious? I look at it like you kind of imagine if you have like cameras following you all the time. Sometimes what people do is, if I'm around you and we're listening to educational content, I'm then now going to show my attentiveness. But what would I do behind closed doors? Would I have that same level of attentiveness? Would I actually listen to the entire educational content all the way through? And people don't realize that whatever you do behind closed doors is going to show in public, right? And the more success that you have is just more of a magnifying glass you have on yourself. Yeah. So people don't realize that for me, and this is when it just boils back to being a better me. Like I really just became obsessed with being a better person so I could show up as a better leader for people, so I could show up as a better speaker, so I could be a better sister, so I could just be a better person for others. I'm like, I have to be a better person for myself.
Yeah. Lately I've been thinking a lot about the size of opportunity that a person pursues. And this is what I mean by ballsy, right? Some people, they don't really take big risks. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, they're risk adverse. And that was something that I've noticed in myself. And it's like, I'll take certain risks, but I'm avoiding the big risks. And I think because I'm avoiding the big risks, I'm avoiding the big reward. So I've made up in my mind lately, you know what? I'm going to take bigger risks, and it is what it is. If I fail, if I fall, that ain't nothing new. So that's what I wanted to get out of you, because I see you as somebody who is not afraid to take risks. Where did that come from? Did it come from not having the life that you wanted and understanding that if you don't take this risk, you will never have the life that you wanted?
I think I was always like a person that was like rebellious, that I always did what I wanted to do. And I think when I was younger, it wasn't for business. It was like the risks I was taking was just very immature and very young, and like it had nothing to do with money. It just had to do with like just personal satisfaction, like going to a party. If I'm not supposed to go to a party, I will sneak out and go to the party. Like, so I always just looked at myself as taking great risks to get the rewards that I wanted. So to see it play out in business is actually very interesting. But I've always kind of just been that person that I'll see the rules, and in some cases I'll respect them, but in other cases it's like, just do what you want, And I think that I am maybe not the most riskiest person, but I'm definitely not the most risk averse. I would say I'm a little bit in the middle, maybe more on the riskier side. And I think it just boils down to like, I don't really care what people think, because everybody's always going to say, you need to do this, you need to do that, you should be like this, and you should be like that. And regardless, they're not going to like you, or if they like, I've experienced my whole life of the people that love me, the people that hate me,
And no matter what you do, you can't make them like you. If somebody don't like you, I've been through that. There have been people who just didn't trust me, or they had like an ill feeling about me, and I'll be a dancing monkey for them, smiling, nice, good morning. And to this day, they don't like me and they don't trust me. So I just learned, like, if you ain't gonna like me, you ain't gonna like me.
Exactly.
The people that love you, that's there for you, they there for you. So focus your energy on them. So I respect that.
And the thing too is like failure. Failure stops a lot of people. That's like the scariest thing for them, failing. And people don't realize that the person that has the greatest success just had more failures than you. You get what I mean? They put themselves in more position to fail than you have. You've maybe only failed 5 times. That person that's making over deca millions of dollars or billions, oh yeah, they failed 100,000 times. 100,000 times. So your 5 failures that you're holding on, I only have 5 failures. I don't want to add up no more failures. That person failed 100,000 times to get to where you want to go. So failure, you have to realize, is the best friend of success.
Yeah. And so one thing I see with you, you strike me as somebody who will fail and get up quickly and start moving quickly. Like you take action quick. The people that I think would make great entrepreneurs are people that they have that personality trait. They'll start something, fail, try it again, fail, try it again, fail. You know what I'm saying? So they'll have 10 failures in 3 days, as opposed to the other person who's more safe and risk adverse and they're more logical and book smart. They'll have 3 failures in 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So like, to the people out there that are, quick and they're not afraid to fail, like, really dig into that. Because I think society, and a lot of our teachers and a lot of the people that are super professional, they try to instill following the rules, be safe, be logical, follow the structure, be slow. I think they try to instill that into us. And if you're entrepreneurial, you don't operate like that. Entrepreneurs, they're visionaries, they're eccentric, they're crazy. They rely on common sense more than what they learned from their business professor who never had a business. So how did you embrace that, knowing like, let me follow my gut instinct. Let me, these rules, they're not gonna make me rich. Following this structure ain't gonna make me rich, So how did you embrace that?
I think faith, and you said the word structure. What schools or institutions or teachers try to give you is a structure. You need a foundation and you need a structure in whatever you do, especially as entrepreneurs. You have to have structure. So at the time, I didn't even really have structure, but I came into something that had structure for me. It was like everything was already laid out. All you have to do is just do this. You have to invest into yourself, invest into your mindset, become a leader. If you want to be a leader, learn how to be a leader, and I had to learn that. There's books. I have a whole library of like 10 leadership books. And I had to try it, fail, try, fail. But the thing that remained consistent is who I was. You know what I mean? Who I am. And what I mean by that is my character. If it didn't change at all, it grew. I had to just make sure that myself, even as I fail, what I'm gaining is more wisdom. And I'm also gaining more character, more principle in who I am. I think that when it came to me taking like risks and just saying and kind of just knowing my faith, what I said earlier, like praying for something, waiting for the signs, and then when the signs presented itself, I said, you know what, I'm going to take it. And even sometimes when you take it and you feel like I don't really know, pray. Have a belief system. Believe in something. You get what I mean? And making sure that you take the time to pray on it. You bless it. You ask for blessings and you follow it. Because at the end of the day, when you have a great big dream, nobody's going to see it. Sometimes it doesn't matter how great you say it, you write it out. Nobody's going to see it except you. And sometimes when you start speaking on it, this is when people start to belittle it. They try to
compartmentalize.
Yeah. It just goes bad. When your vision that your creator gave you was your vision for a reason, nobody else is going to be able to see it.
So when you have your vision and you have failed and it's taking longer than you wanted it to take, how did you persevere and keep going? And I have a follow-up question after that.
For me, I think it was, and this is why it's so good to like find what you love to do. I loved doing what I did. So remember,
the journey, not the destination. So you love the process of trying it and failing. It's like, okay.
And then I was alongside such great people that loved the journey too. Oh my gosh, that's like the people that you surround yourself is so like important to your journey. For me, like I'm somebody that I love friends, I love family, I love that. I really love being alone too. I absolutely love being alone. But I love when I am around people, I'm around like-minded people. And I'm also around people that they pick up what I lack. What you said earlier is I seem like a doer. It was actually funny. I'm really a thinker. But my closest people that I speak to the most, that I do business with, they're doers. They get the doing out of me, but I get the thinking out of them. I help them to really sit and be like, and I help them rationalize, and they'll be like, wow, I didn't think about it that way. Or this is what we should do. This is how we should strategize it. But they get the doing out of me. Like, so we doing it right now. We out, and I'll be like, and one thing I learned is from my friend that is a doer, I said, how do you just become like so vigilant with just getting up and just doing what's the first thing on your mind? And he said, I look at it like I jump off the building and I find the parachute on the way down. Trust me, there's gonna be times where you're pulling the parachute where you feel like it's jamming on you, and you just have to keep doing that. You have to have that mindset of whatever you want to do, find out what works for you. Never try to do something that is not you at all, because you're gonna do it very bad and you're gonna fail and you're gonna feel like, oh my gosh. But only you know what you're good at, what you enjoy doing. If you don't know your gifts, if you don't know your purpose, if you don't know what you're passionate about, pray for it. Pray and ask for it to be revealed, and then go out and try multiple different things. Yeah. Try it.
So what you spoke of with your friend, like the type of personality trait to jump off the building and build your parachute on the way down, like people like that, like they typically perform well under pressure. So they need that, there's a deadline in 2 hours. I got to build this website in 2 hours. Without that deadline, they might procrastinate. So he was able to be self-aware enough to know, I need to put myself in situations where there's pressure and tension. That's when I perform.
And then think about it. You have the pressure with the mindset of, I'm a millionaire right now. Yeah. I'm jumping off the building, but I don't feel like I'm about to die. Yeah. I feel like it's happening right now. What's happening, baby? It's amazing. So it's like, it's taking that pressure and not being afraid of it. You get what I mean? Like that's another thing, like not making pressure scare you. Yes, pressure is very but this is why when you have fun with what you're doing, whatever you're doing is going to be hard work, because you can have anything in this life that you want if you really want it bad enough. I even tell myself this all the time. The things that I say I want that I don't have, I really just don't want it that bad, as bad as I think. Sometimes I have to sit down to myself like, do you really want this, Kay? You know what I mean? You're saying you want this, but do you really want this? Because if you really want this, you can get it. You get what I mean? You could get it, and it probably doesn't even have to take 30 years, what most people think. It could probably happen very expeditiously. I'm not saying, I'm not saying, in the next 5 months or whatever, but I'm really saying what people may think it takes 30 years to do, you could probably do it in 10. You could do it in less than half that time, just with that mindset shift. But it is a very, I wouldn't say scary, it is a very intentional shift.
I love it though, because you're right.
Super.
Like if you want something, you can get it. I love that. Say that again. Just
if you, whatever you want, you can have it.
And if you don't have it, that just means
you just don't want it bad enough. That's it. Because if you want it bad enough, you're not going to take no as an answer. You're going to find a way to get it, and you're going to get it. That is one thing that I've learned. If you want it, you're going to get it by any means. And it's beautiful because, but now the part of it that a lot of people aren't just willing to do is it takes sacrifices. You know, during those peaks, it's like it took a lot of like just friendship sacrificing, like just friendship, like fun, like other, like fun time out, and we hear it all the time, but it's I'm not lying, it's true.
It's same with fitness though. Like there were times when there have been times when I said I want to be in great shape, but I ain't really want it, and I wasn't in great shape. And then there have been times when I said, yo, I want to be in great shape, but I wanted it. So I dieted, I did my cardio, I did my workouts, and I ain't missed a single step because I really wanted it. So what you're saying right now is 100% true. I'm even reflecting right now, like, yo, out of all the things on my goal list that I don't have, that I'm not actually making progress towards achieving, I don't really want them joints. So I need to reevaluate and make myself really want it so I can get it.
Exactly.
Okay. You said something. You said you have people around you that are naysayers. So when you start talking about what you want to do and your dreams and your vision, they don't support it, or they don't believe that it's really possible. Did that discourage you? And if it did, how did you combat that?
Honestly, it didn't discourage me. It gave me a lot more fuel. Some of the closest people around me were the least supportive at the time of what I was doing, or just didn't see the vision. So I would more so say they didn't really, some people didn't know how to support me. Some people just did not support me. And some people they couldn't get themselves to. Like, even if they knew, like, this is the way, or what, they just, maybe whatever they were going through, it just was too much for them to try to do that. Maybe their own shortcomings, whatever. But I feel like I always use that as fuel to make me go even harder.
What are some things every new entrepreneur should know?
Themselves, other people, and the importance of relationships. Relationships are like currency. So being able to know the value of the people that they meet and treating it like it's currency, treating it like how you would treat if you had $1 million. Oh my God, I would love it. So love people and listen to them. Listen to the things that they say and be a solution-oriented person in their life.
What are some of the benefits of being What are some of the benefits of being a person who's a good listener?
There's a lot of benefits. You learn more than the average. If you pay attention to the fact that you have 2 ears, 1 mouth for a reason, we heard that all the time, but when you listen more than you speak, you gain way more wisdom than the average person. That wisdom can be the one single changing point to you getting further than the other person, as well as it helps deepen connections. So much people don't feel heard, right? So you don't want to be another person that helps a person not feel heard. Listen.
So you're saying when you are talking to somebody and you listen to them when they speak, they feel heard?
I would want to. That's the goal. Because communication, what is the purpose of communication? That I'm trying to say a message, and when it lands to your mind, when you hear it, it helps you to understand what I'm saying or who I am more. If I say things and you don't understand it, it's not plugging in, then the whole purpose of communication is gone. It's dead.
I like what you said though, because like somebody feeling like if I'm talking to you and I really feel like you're listening to me, I walk away feeling like, wow, like I feel good. Like she really heard me and she really understood me. Like I feel seen. So when you said that, like people feel heard, like I love that because that can really, one, make people like you a lot more. And that's something that I realized. Why do you think people don't listen in conversations and they feel the need to talk more?
Because that could be a fear. That could be them actually playing out an insecurity of themselves, where they feel like they have to speak and they have to overcompensate and they have to be in control or in charge for them to have power. You don't realize that you get power in so many different ways. Stop focusing on the power of always speaking and focus on the power of being wise counsel, being someone that listens. You can listen to the problems and you can provide that solution. You can listen to the heart of a person, the character of a person, and you'll learn more. You'll see red flags, you'll see risks, you'll also see great opportunity, and you'll deepen connections. And sometimes when you always speak, I don't know what you're overcompensating for, but sometimes it works against you. I've seen it work against people so many times. Just not saying, you know what, let me just listen and actually listen. Because
what do you mean works against people?
Oh yeah, when you have diarrhea of the mouth, when you like just speak, and sometimes you don't think when you speak, so you just start saying things. And one thing you have to realize is, oh my gosh, this is a really good quote. Listening, great listeners. People never remember what you say, or even sometimes how you say it. They'll always remember how it made them feel. So when you always speak and you're always trying to be the person that speaks all the time, you don't even pay attention to how what you're saying may make somebody else feel. You're so focused on just saying it, and you're so focused on how you're saying it. But it should all be, everything should just be a delivery.
It's funny, when I speak to people like that just talk, and when I talk to them, they don't listen and they start to talk again, it makes me feel like, yo, they don't even listen to me. So it makes me not hate them, but just dislike them. It's like, I'm gonna holler at you later. I want to cut the conversation short with them because I don't feel good being around them. I don't feel like it's an even exchange. So yeah, you go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, I just think, it took me time to really realize that, but it's a great power. Sometimes just saying, you know what, I just want to listen to people, because I know that when I speak, I want to be heard, and I want people to listen to me. But remember, that's leadership, and I've learned that. Whatever you want people to do for you, make sure you do it for other people. You want people to listen to you when you speak, make sure you listen to people when they speak. 100%. You want people to respect you, make sure you respect people. Make sure that your character, no matter how that person is, make sure you, on your end, your part of the bargain, you're holding that up, because that's your principle. That's who you are. You get what I mean? I read a Bible verse, and it says, what's more important than your birth is your death. All you have is your name. You get what I mean? And people don't really realize that when you're gone, you have lived a lifetime. There's a lifetime of people that have experienced you, that have seen you, that have spoken to you. And people think, oh, it's just the moment that you're born. When the moment that you're born, you haven't done anything, just been a cute face. You get a little slap on the butt. But when you go through life, people hold on to experiences. They hold on to those feelings. You get what I mean? And I'm not saying at the day of your funeral, you're going to have someone crash it, but people remember those things. If you was a good person, if you was a stand-up dude, if you was a woman of your word, if you was a great businessman, or if you were somebody that was bad, it's biblical. That day of when you pass, your name and what you have made of it is more important than the day of your birth, when you actually was given your name, because it's all about how you treat others. You get what I mean?
Yeah. That's deep. Last question. What are some mistakes you made in business?
Oh, I made a lot of mistakes. I think that a big mistake that I made was, I think this is so funny, underestimating my financial literacy and the financial literacy of others. With what I was doing, teaching people what I was teaching them, I'm not really understanding, like, okay, I could teach people how to make the money, but how to keep it, how to sustain it, and how to make it grow into other streams, not quite. Even myself, I felt like, I knew some things, but it's like if only I've known this and if only I've known that at certain peaks, right? I've kind of have it all good now. So it's like, all right, the structure is there, but structuring myself and planting myself into things where sometimes we push it off, and it's the same attitude of, oh, when I get there, I'll focus on that. When I get there, I'll be happy.
So you're saying you weren't educated in certain financial, with certain financial ways.
Exactly. I was more focused on like, yo, if I'm making this amount, I could make more. And when I make that amount, then but not realizing like, nah, girl, whatever. If you can be trusted, who can be trusted with a little can be trusted with a lot. If you can't be trusted with the little that you have, no matter what your little is, if you can't be trusted with that little, don't think when you get a lot, finally, oh yeah, now I understand finances. Now I understand. No. Character is the same thing. If you don't understand character when you don't have nobody that knows you, if you don't understand how to be that when you're a nobody, don't think, oh, now when you know all these people, no, just a lot more people is going to see your bad character. You get what I mean? So it's like understanding that when you have little influence, when you have little money, when you have little time, when you don't have as much time, do you still find importance into your passion projects or into those things? You might say, oh, I don't have as much time. If I had, remember, everyone has 24 hours in a day. It don't matter how favored and loved you are. When my 24 hours is your 24 hours. You might say, oh, well, she has more 24 hours in a day, so she could do more. Okay, so with the 24 hours that you have and the little time that you have, what do you do with it? You get what I mean? So it really boils down to no matter how big of a blessing that you feel like you get, with the little blessings that you have, how do you actually value it? You get what I mean? Yeah, I kind of just went on a rampage with that one.
Yeah, you did, but it's all good. I mean, you're great. I got a lot out of this. You definitely got me motivated. We are going to call it there. All right.
Yes, and I have a present for you. Okay. Again, giving you your flowers. Thank you so much for having me on this beautiful platform. You have helped so many people, including myself, become a better me.
Thank you.
To create a better society. So I just wanted to give you a present.
Oh, snap wine. Ooh, hey. I feel fancy. I'll put this on my desk and it's gonna look nice. Thank you.
No problem.
I have a gift for you too.
Okay. I like gifts.
Yeah. This is a Better You Better Society sticker.
Yes. Thank you.
This is a Better You Better Society crop top.
Oh, a crop top? No, I really feel special with that one.
Yeah,
a crop top?
Yeah.
This? I like this a lot. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I'm going to put this on my computer because I love collecting stickers. And now I can wear this with my sweats. And I can look cute. I'm going to go. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's it.